Rock and roll, baby. Rock and
This
roll.
is episode 3. No one
Episode
thought we were going to be on the air for 3 weeks. I thought they were going to shut down the internet because of this, man.
Big
But
Four
hey,
boys. Yep. The
yeah,
network. Go for it.
we're
Yeah.
we're chugging along. We're chugging along. 3 episodes in. Who knows? This might be our last. They might take us off the air. We're getting so many complaints that we're so brutally honest. We have a few cease and desist letters from all the big four. Ernst and Young, we're looking at you. Price Waterhouse, KPMG, and Deloitte. So, but you know what? They haven't taken us off yet. Our legal team is working hard to keep us here. We're not going to back down until we give you the honest truth. Right, Alex?
That's absolutely right. I mean, they heard us running and gunning last week. We talked about strippers, whores. We talked about we teased the
And guess
internship
what? We're
episode.
wearing represent, baby. They
Right.
hate this. They hate this.
Yeah. All right, dude.
Don't get Nike on our backs, man. Don't get Nike on our backs. I hear they have beef with Kyrie. They can't have more beef.
We got him. All right, Alec. Well, I mean, as we always do with these apps, we're gonna cover a bulk. For the bulk of it, we'll cover an accounting topic. Today, we're covering the internship. We were both interns at one point. It was a ton of fun. You dress business formal, and everyone hates you. Before that, I mean, any sports shit come up today? I know Leo Messi's with PSG. I know nothing about soccer, but I saw that Messi's on a whole new squad. I don't know if you had a take on that. I don't really give a shit. I'm sure the million fans. The fans love a good old Leo, but I've seen him.
I mean, he's that's exactly what he is. A good old Leo. He's 34 years old. I don't know. I know soccer. It's a bit different. It's because you're just running so much. It has to do a lot with athletics. I know Messi. They say he's what's his nickname, the little wizard or whatever it is. So he's more into passing game, and his game will age a little more gracefully. But you know, um, we'll see. At the end of the day, it looks like it's a super team at PSG. It'll be exciting to watch. I don't know if the games will be even available here, but that's going on with Messi. Otherwise, I don't think we talked about Team USA winning the gold. Were you shocked about that?
I mean, I wasn't necessarily shocked. I actually didn't even watch that final game, but I know that KD had to bail everyone out. I mean, my guy Damian Lillard with the tragic 11 points.
Bro,
He
what
shot
Dame
horribly.
was? Yeah, what was he like? What? And he lose time or something? He loses superpowers, dude. Like it was bad.
Yeah, I don't know. He had to travel abroad and just lost it. It was that air he couldn't
But
handle.
Drew Holiday was more valuable than freaking Dame Lillard, man. He was getting more crunch time minutes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know. I think I'm happy if Dame wants to hurt his trade value and we just
exactly.
hold on
He's
to
staying in
him.
Portland, man.
He's staying,
He's
man.
staying.
I mean, I'm not too worried about that now that once the Lakers got Russ, I was really scared about Dame to the Lakers. That was the big rumor.
Dude,
And
what
once they
trade could
got
they have
him,
managed? What trade could they have managed? They don't have any picks. Who are
no.
they going to give? Kuzma, Harrell, and like serious. We talked about this? I think first episode, did we? About
Yeah.
AD Dame straight up. Yeah, I mean that's the only thing that would have been.
I think I tweeted this, but if Kuzma was on the Blazers, like I'm not a suicidal guy, but I'm ending it. Like that's just the worst thing possible if he's
Kuz, man, that guy is so overhyped. He's like, dude, I remember a time where people thought he was untradeable. Like they were like, okay, get rid of Brandon Ingram, but you got to keep Kuz. You got to keep
yeah,
Kuz.
he's
It was
got the
like,
upside.
dude,
Yeah, come on now.
I
He's like a year younger than Giannis. It's ridiculous.
I know because he came into the league with as like a fourth year or something, and he came as a polished product, and it was like, oh my god, as a rookie, he's putting up these numbers, and then after that, he just literally put up the same numbers, or like his game got worse. I
Hmm.
mean, I think the Lakers doing that Russ trade, I think they won it, man. I don't care how he fits or he doesn't shoot or whatever. They became must-watch TV, and at the end of the day, that's all it is. Beyond championships, you got you want to watch the Lakers now
Yeah.
more than any other team because you want to see what Russ does, what LeBron does. I mean, AD, he isn't a must watch as the other guys, but
Yeah. I mean, we talked about that last week too. They're the 2014 All-Stars. They're a little past the prime, but I mean, that still a big threat in the West. I don't really know who else. The Suns are
Warriors.
good.
It's either if the
Warriors.
Warriors, they got a real good team, bro. I mean, you got Steph Curry, Clay, um, Draymond, and then whatever Wiseman is. I mean, the guy was first round, second pick. They picked him over LaMelo Ball, so they must have some sort of confidence in the kid. I don't know. And then they got two first rounders this year, and what's his name? I mean, they're the Moses Moody and the other guy, Kachinga or something like that.
Hmm.
Forgot his name, but
Oh, wait, who's the guy with the
Kaminga.
yeah, the guy they nicknamed him Cum Bucket. That's like what people are calling him on Twitter. They're like another basketball
Dude,
Cum
summer
Bucket.
league.
Somebody, yes,
Hey,
someone sent me. My brother sent me just a Twitter thread. They're like, Warriors Twitter really calling this dude Cum Bucket, which I mean, it's a good nickname because he gets buckets, and it's
I
like
don't
a
know if they could use it
sexual
anywhere else
thing.
though.
Yeah, I don't think you can say that in the stadium, but it
Definitely, the announcers won't be saying "come bucket" with
yeah,
another
that
basket.
lives on Twitter, but it's something.
I don't know, man. I think they're fully set up. Honestly, they have a pretty good chance at landing Dame. That would be the most exciting. That would be even more exciting than the Lakers, dude. Imagine you got a front court of Dame as your point, Steph as your two, Clay as your three. Oh my God! And
That
then,
yeah, that was like last
and
year's
then
All-Star game. Those two guys were the front court, Steph and Dame.
dude, and then now Clay back and healthy, and then you got Iggy at your four, and then Draymond at your five. That's just fucking
Hmm.
run, 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 screen, screen, screen. Everyone's a 3-point threat. Everyone's having fun. By the way, as a Trailblazers fan, would you be mad if they did that trade? If they did Wiggins, Wiseman, Cum Bucket, and Moses Moody, four first rounders, four first rounders, and let's say a future and two future firsts for Dame. You're happy about that trade, right?
I'd be happy. I mean, just for Cum Bucket, like give me the jizz. I think that's a good lineup for us. I mean, I've been saying this for years. We got to switch it up somehow. I don't want to get rid of Dame. Ideally, you get rid of CJ. If you traded CJ for that, but obviously the, the,
Fuck
War-
off,
the
fuck
Warriors
off.
don't the Warriors don't want him just because
The Warriors,
they already have Clay at
they
that
don't have a
position.
fourth grader as their GM. They're not going to make that trade for CJ, bro.
There was a long time where I feel like it was a discussion. I mean, CJ has never been an all-star, but there's been a discussion where we go, "Oh, who's better out of these two?" Bill Simmons, who is a well-known analyst,
Versus who?
wrote the book of basketball.
Yeah, yeah.
He said that for a while he pushed the trade Dame narrative for the Blazers. He always loved CJ. And I mean, Bill Simmons is a good guy. He only got fired once. So I think that his advice is I would take it. I don't know.
Dude, Dame time, man. Come on. The guy's box office.
Oh, the past few years, definitely. CJ has had some slow starts. His wine company's not doing well. Yeah.
He's got the podcast. He's an NBA president, NBA Players Association president. The guy's basically everywhere but, basketball. I want a guy who's, I mean, I know Dame's also into rap and that crap, but
Yeah.
not that his rap's crap. All respect to you, Mr. Dame.
Dame Dollar. All right, dude. I think that's good on the NBA talk. Did
Yeah.
you last week I derailed the pod with a 30-minute story.
We won't do that this time.
We won't do this time. Did you have anything crazy happen this week though? Before we get into the intern stuff, you have anything cool, anything wild?
Man, I've been waking up at 5 a.m., these past few days and just sleeping at 9 p.m. Not really. I'm getting used to this jet lag life, bro. I haven't
Yeah.
really I haven't really done anything exciting. No strip clubs for me.
Damn, dude. Well, I mean, you got to get used to that jet lag, get back intact. I had one quick thing happen. So for the millions of fans, I mean, I'm on social, I'm doing talk videos or
Ooh.
anything, and so once in a while, like a really struggling company will hit me up and be like, hey, we noticed your videos that are kind of mediocre. Do you want to maybe use our product in one of them and advertise?
Whoa.
Well, so
Influencer over here, folks.
so a couple of them have been legit, but one happened last week, and I don't know if I should give away the whole thing. I'll just say it up front. My brother pranked the fucking shit out of me last week, where so I tell my brother a lot of shit that happens with like the videos and stuff, and so he knew that some of these brands are like starting to hit me up, and it's nothing cool. It's nothing like Nike or Coke. It's all these failing locations. And so this one dude shoots me a text, and it's like, "Hey Alex, this is Ryan from Gym Jet," and it was a random number. And so first of all, I'm like, "How did this dude get my number?" And so I was like, "Hey Ryan, appreciate you reaching out. Just curious, like, how did you even get my info?" And he goes, "Oh, you had your messages set up on TikTok to where I can access your phone." Seemed like a decent enough explanation. I was like, I'm not going to question this dude who wants to pay me. Like, fair enough. And so I just go, yeah, man, well, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to promote? And he goes, well, here's a link to our site. And it's these blenders that basically a shaker bottle for when you lift weights and have protein. And so I go, all right, this is a decent product. And
I gotta see this. I gotta see
yeah, check out Gym Jet. If we had a producer, we'd pull it up now.
this.
And I was like, okay. And so he texts me all the details. He's like, if you upload this video, if you upload a TikTok promoting this blender bottle, we'll pay you $50 up front, and then we'll pay you like $10 for however many thousand views it gets. And it was
Whoa.
pretty comparable to some of the other offers I've gotten from companies. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm in. Like this bottle seems cool. He's like, great, we'll send you one. But first, let me hop on a call with you just to like discuss final details. And I'm at my office. So this was I need to like backtrack a bit. We were doing this texting last Thursday while I was in the office. I work for an accounting firm downtown Portland. No big four, no big four. And so I'm working and I'm texting this dude during the day. He's like, great. Well, I'll call you after work around 6 p.m. And I'm like, all right, sounds good, Ryan. Like, looking forward to coordinating this. And so
Sad.
finally, dude calls at like 6. People in my office have left by then because it's industry. People don't stay late. And I just answer the phone and I'm like, hey, this is Alex. And he's just like, what's up, you fucking pussy? And I'm like, what the fuck? And I just freak out, and it was my brother on the phone, and I was like, and I was so confused at first because I had been texting him during the day too, and it turns out my brother got a work phone from his new job and was texting me from his work phone, coordinating as some fucking dude, saying he was Ryan from Gym Jet, and I totally just took the bait, and he just like screamed on the phone. And so that was kind of the quick prank. I got bamboozled by Tim, my brother, but I was giving him suggestions afterwards. I felt like it would have been funnier if he just like did a fake voice and talked to me for like 10 minutes and then said like fuck you or something. I don't know, just ended it
I
with
feel like it would have been funnier to see you get the video, you do all the legwork with the video, and then before you post it, send it to him for his approval and everything like that. And then
well, the thing is, yeah, that would have been better, but
he,
he wanted me to. He was like, we'll send you the product for the video. That's how he set it up.
ah,
So it's like obviously he doesn't have a product to send.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're right. That would have been funnier if he was like, just talk about it and we'll pay you $1,000. And I would have been like, oh, fuck. Um,
During work,
dude,
you'd be going to the bathroom and recording.
I totally just took the bait. And yeah, so that was the quick thing there. Brother pranked the shit out of me. But it was so believable just because I had been telling him about other like very low key TikTok companies that'll hit you up. None of them are cool, but and so he just of course hits me up with a random link to this gym jet site, um, and I fucking fell for it. But that was the quick story.
Oh shit. Well, you're on your way to being a TikTok influencer, bro. And
Yeah,
one of these days, you're gonna be too big for this pod, and we're gonna have to. We don't know what we're gonna do at that point, man. We don't know. So don't get too big on us now.
odds going up. Odds going up with the vids.
Folks, like I said, we are fighting for this right now. We have a big legal team just going up against the entire Big Four. And you know what? We'd appreciate your support. Hey, financially, if you guys want to do that, you guys are more than welcome to. Um, but right now, we need your emotional support more than anything. So, feel free to drop a comment down here or like if you support us and if we should continue this fight for freedom.
Yeah, those lawyer fees ain't cheap. But let's dig right
Yes.
in. Let's dig right into this app. This is what the accounting students. This is what the accounting fan group came to listen to. We left y'all on the hook last week talking about this, but today, Alec, we are discussing the internship. Not just any
Uh,
internship, the Big Four internship.
well, folks, 2 weeks ago we talked about the summer leadership program. So you followed all those steps, then you have successfully landed an internship at a Big Four. So congratulations on that. It's not an easy feat per se, um, you know, but you made it, and now you get to reap the benefits. Alex, when you would have to rank the interns in, I guess, status in the whole level, I guess, between staff, senior manager, partner, where would the interns fall in that hierarchy to you? Because in my opinion, they're definitely above staff and senior. That's what I definitely think in
I,
that
I was gonna
hierarchy.
I was gonna put them at number two behind partners, just
Yeah,
in terms of the way that they're treated. Obviously, they don't get paid as much as I think manager and above, but per hour and per amount of time worked, they make more than a senior or an associate.
by far. But to be honest, I think they make they're getting paid 40 hours a week and sometimes overtime to really do menial work, if any work at all. Most of the time they're there to read things or to get more familiar with the client. Um, in my experience, um, it was pretty much an educational experience as opposed to a working experience. Best way I could put it.
Mhm.
So definitely somewhere below partner, maybe even above partner, just based on the amount of work you're actually putting in and the way they treat you. I mean, folks, they invite you to about a happy hour every 2 weeks, with paid drinks and on a really cool, like at a really cool spot, like bars that normally would cost $40 cover and then like $10-15 a drink. All of that is included, you know. And then to top it off, they literally send you to Disneyland, all paid, and paying you for your time at Disneyland while also giving you free hotel room and free passes to Disneyland, which is
Yeah,
pretty sick.
yeah, a lot
Uh,
of perks. Do you want to maybe go through kind of our experiences, like chronologically, maybe how it how it started for both of us? I know that for myself, finished up my year of school, and then around mid June is when we started our internships. It was June 2018. Um,
yeah.
and
So I think Yeah, normally a lot of folks finish up in August, I mean in May, private schools or whatnot, but I know we went to public school, so we finished in June, or I don't know, did you finish in May or June?
June. Yeah, it was like mid
Yeah.
June. Hmm.
So for us, I think it was the week right after we finished school, they had to start the internship, and they start the internship at the same time for everyone, whether you finish up in May or June. I know a lot of private school folks, they finish in May and it's May 10 or so, and then they have to wait a month until their internship. Um, and then for us, we get basically when we finish in August, we get a month off later. So it's basically, when do you get your month off? You get your month off up front or your month off afterwards. Um, anyhow, yeah. But so back to the point, we start in June. The first week is training, right?
Hmm.
Is it 2 weeks of training?
I think it was just a week that we did it, and it's basically just really the upfront basics of the database that you work in. For us, it was a, I don't know how detailed we want to get into
Yeah,
discussing like Aura databases or anything, but it's just an overall training of what you are doing as an auditor. If you're choosing to pursue audit, or if you're in tax, you'll get specific training on what you do in the tax practice. And for us, what it was is you're doing this training with all the other interns. And for us, it's going to be different for whatever groups that you're in, or whatever market that you're in. For us, both being in LA, we were in ballrooms of, what was it, 100 people, um, grouped together doing these
yeah.
trainings. The trainings were brutal, folks. Let's be perfectly honest. They just load you with a ton of information for 5 days, and it's a situation where you will retain none of it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And don't worry, you're not tested afterwards. It's honestly, you just have to stay awake. I mean, just, I guess, look awake. I don't know if people could nap with their eyes open, but that's pretty much the extent of it. And you're just hanging out and meeting cool people. I mean, that's where you get to meet a lot of your, like, friends for the internship and for your future work life. So I've treated as, try to meet some cool people on your table or whatever it is, and don't really worry about the education, because they can't teach you auditing in like 4 days or whatever, however much they jam pack it in. And plus, no one expects you to know anything once you start the actual internship. The only thing that I would recommend, if anyone is watching this right before they start the internship, is get a little familiar with Excel, learn some shortcuts on Excel. You'll really impress people if you know a few things on Excel. Just because, hey, if you know, like, Alt Tab, which is like one of the biggest shortcuts that you need to know when you're doing this, which is basically switching screens. Whoa, you got a huge leg up, and you'll impress some folks that, hey, you actually know what you're doing. But beyond that, really, there's nothing for you to brush up on or learn. It's going to be 10 weeks of awesomeness, the best 10 weeks of your Big Four career. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
And another thing to touch on, just with the internship in general, especially that first week, none of these employees, none of these managers, partners, people teaching you, they don't expect you to know dick. So
Yeah,
it's one of those things. You're a college student, and you have not worked in these databases. You haven't done anything specific to PwC or EY or one of these companies, and so you're like a 5-year-old walking in there, and that's okay. You shouldn't expect to know things. You shouldn't be a try hard either, and
oh yeah,
be the
because
expert, because you suck.
you know what? These accountants, by the way, big time gossipers. I could tell you, when I was like, hired and we were evaluating the interns, these seniors and managers, they love to gossip about anything and everything. It's just it, it's crazy. um, but not to say that we're judging you or anything. We're just they're just gossiping. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
but anyways, in terms of, the clients that you get placed on, I know a lot of people are worried, hey, if I get placed on this big client during my internship, am I going to be on this client if I start full time here? And so on and so forth. Technically, yeah. So maybe I know a lot of people before, I don't know, I mean, I didn't do it, but I know a lot of people were really into it, contacted like managers or seniors at PwC before they started the internship and saying, "Hey, I want to work on your client," which I mean, how would they know they're like sophomores or whatever, sophomores at the time? Like, how do they know they want to work at this client or the other client or that? I mean, it's kind of like crazy, right? But I know a lot of people who did that, and that's how they got placed on whatever client they had during the internship. And then, eventually they ended up working on that client full time when they started working. I know for Price Waterhouse in Los Angeles, like the coveted client is Disney. For Ernst and Young, that coveted client is Netflix. For KPMG, I don't know, who's their big audit client?
Do they have Wendy's? Man, I don't. They got nothing.
They have something, but I don't know. I don't recall their big coveted client. Like, and then Deloitte. What's Deloitte's in Los Angeles?
It's tricky because we didn't work at either of those places.
Yeah, like I know what I could tell you at EY and PwC. I just Deloitte and KPMG. I'm not. They're not coming off the top of my head, but anyways, like just you'll hear that each office has their one big client. If you're in Seattle, you'll hear that Deloitte has Starbucks or something. You're like, oh, I want to be on Starbucks. Doesn't The biggest clients don't mean the best perks in my experience. I was on Disney and during my internship, I actually had 8 different clients during my internship. And the coolest experience I had was probably at one of the smallest clients. First of all, great atmosphere, great team. It was only two people, so I got a lot more hands-on attention from my senior, and I was learning a lot more than I would when I was at Disney, where it was like 10 people cramped in one conference room and no windows or whatever it was. And yeah, personally, I enjoyed my time at the much smaller client than Disney. But so that's just my word of advice. Don't get attracted by the big names if you have the choice of making a client,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and you mentioned some people being the tryhards, the teachers' pets, reaching out beforehand to get a specific client. I actually didn't know anyone who did that.
Oh, I did, yeah.
That seems pretty intense. But
I know.
for the most part, I mean, it's not really up to you what client you get put on. This is more niche to LA, but I think that a lot of people in that office want entertainment. They want to work on Disney or Netflix or Pornhub, Brazzers, any of the good ones. And
Yeah, I
so,
know those are Canadian.
yeah, those are all pretty fun. But there's other practices in LA. I mean, I got grouped into financial services, which pretty rough. There's other industries too. And you don't really get a say, especially as an intern. I think that Alec had a very unique experience having so many clients, whereas I just had one financial services client the whole internship. And another funny thing that happened is, and once again, this is specific to the one that we did. We can't really speak to other parts of the country or what what other people had during their internship, but what I noticed is a lot of people, after you finish that week or 2 weeks of training, some people were just unbooked for a week or two
Yeah.
weeks before getting put on a client. And during that time, they just tell you, show up to the office, wear your tie and your thong, and do the trainings that are required. That's basically their way of saying, we don't have much work going on right now, but look busy. And you'll get put in that position. I was in that position, I think, for a week before I had to drive to Irvine. Um,
Ooh, shit. Oh yeah, you were Capital Group, right? Oh
mhm.
wait, can we say that? I guess we're
uh,
yeah, whatever.
yeah, we'll bleep it out. Probably not, but yeah.
You guys didn't
CG,
hear that. You guys didn't hear
yeah, just
that.
plug the ears on that last part, please. Um, And yeah, that's another thing you deal with a part of the internship, which maybe we'll clip this too. People who get put on clients, that is 100% your responsibility to figure out how to get there. It's the same way you'd be expected to get to the main office. If you have a client that is in bumfuck anal, like, you have to figure out how to actually get a ride there, which can be difficult. I don't know. I mean, I was lucky where I showed up to LA like a bum with no car. I mean, I was basically homeless. No, I had a place, but had no whip, and I would carpool with two other interns down to Irvine 3 times a week. I don't know how often we were down there, but yeah, so I was riding with a Mexican and an Asian, and it was a melting pot of race.
Hey, actually, I knew a guy who didn't have a car who also came from out of state, and he, his client, he had to take, I think, 2 to 3 buses more each time like each trip to the like to get to his client. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. If you get into audit, um, you probably need a car, especially if you're in Los Angeles or one of these like suburban cities. If you don't have a car, you hate driving, definitely do tax. It's more of an office job. Nowadays, it's mostly remote anyways. But yeah, audit, you probably need a car. And if you're out of state, make sure you email the HR people up front before and say, hey, I'm only going to be here for 8 weeks, so I'm not going to get a car. So I'd really appreciate it if you could set me up with something near, wherever you live or near the downtown office, which is probably where you're going to get something. So definitely be proactive. I'm not saying email random people and say, hey, I want to be on your client, because that's just weird. I mean, if you're really into it, definitely do it. If you really have a client in mind, then go ahead. Or if you have a connection with someone that you met at a coffee chat, sure, do it. But either way, you're still going to be fine. I mean, I didn't email anyone, and I still got placed on, let's say, the Disney or whatever it was. So it's mostly random, but
Hmm.
yeah. And not to get off too much off topic. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, about being proactive. Um, yeah, there was actually an instance. I know we were gonna talk about this later. You know what? I'll save it for later. I'll save it for later.
All right.
But being proactive, it helps. And there's gonna be a section where we're gonna talk about it, and I have a really cool story.
Hmm. Sweet. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Another thing, just with in terms of client work. So we've covered those first few weeks of training and how it's all kind of BS. You can just use that time to make friends, and none of the stuff you learn you'll remember. Um, Client work, yeah, it's kind of out of your hands what you'll get assigned, unless you're sexting or emailing the partner beforehand. And then in terms of just basically the impression you make, the only advice I can give to anyone as an intern is just say yes to everything. When you're at the client with your associate or your senior, when they ask you to do something, you're saying yes to any task, and just show that you're willing to learn whatever it is. If they ask you for help on an assignment, you say yes. If they ask you to go on a snack run for the team, you say yes.
Oh,
If they
those are the
say,
best. You jump for those.
yeah, if they say, let me peg you here, you say, yep, yes, sir.
Hey,
Uh,
by the way, I've heard of something like that.
Really? Oh,
Oh yeah, senior and an intern.
holy shit.
True story. True story. Doesn't Not me, but heard it.
Engagement team incest. So that's kind of the advice I can give. Just so we covered the client stuff, and then when you're at the client, when you're working on an engagement, they don't expect you to be some rock star, but
What
just
what type of work should they expect?
so. I mean, I can touch on the specific stuff I did it, but you're hmm. I don't know what detail we want to go into.
So, I'll just just on a general term, you're not expected to really prepare any work papers,
Right.
not expected to do any critical thinking whatsoever. The exact opposite of critical thinking, actually. You're just supposed to do the grunt work. And
Yeah.
it's the easy grunt work. Probably the hardest grunt work you'll get is when they say, hey, do the tie up. And that's like going to be the most annoying thing ever because they're going to hand you like, let's say, 100-page financial statement, and then they're going to say tie everything up. And for folks who don't know what tie out is, which is totally fine because you shouldn't know what a tie out is. I barely know what it is, and I'm a senior. He doesn't know. It's essentially when you go through financial statement. And again, if you don't know what a financial statement is, that's something that a company releases that tells shareholders or people that own their stock how their company's doing, how much revenue they have, how much money they made, so on and so forth. Anyways, you're basically, when you do a tie, you're basically making sure that the numbers add up on the financial statements. So revenue 10 minus expense 5 equals 5 income. So I know you're like, oh, doesn't the computer do that? You'd be shocked when you're dealing with decimals and rounding. Usually it messes up more often than not. So that's like a really, really big issue. Uh, and then again, not to get too specific, but that's pretty much like the most tedious work you'll do. The rest is just either copying what they did last year and just changing the dates into 2020 or 2021 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So don't expect any hard work
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so right. It's all the grunt work. It's all just the tedious stuff that I'm sure they'll have a bot for in a year or two. But
Yeah.
that's essentially what it is. They're like, hey, take care of the shit that we don't want to do. Um, and that's totally fine. I mean, the internship, Alec touched on it earlier. That's the best time to be at one of these big four firms. That's the most fun you will have is when you're an intern. You're treated like
Definitely.
royalty. You get jerked, and you get paid well, and you have fun social events. So we've touched on advice just as far as the work that you're doing, how to set a good impression just by saying yes to things. Um, yeah,
Get to know.
do we want to touch on the social aspect a bit? There's like do's and don'ts of what to do at a happy hour. You can't dry hump a whole lot, but I'm
Just
just
a little bit.
yeah, I'm just kind of wondering what direction we want to go in next as far as the you had that story too that you were teasing. Love a good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna save that for the section of how to lose an offer.
Oh, great. Ooh.
Yeah,
So
and that's coming up, folks, by the way. But yeah, we'll touch up on the happy hour now, the do's and don'ts. Do's, have fun, meet new people, talk to partners, talk to, managers, seniors, talk to other interns. Don't treat interns like sardines. They're your friends. These are the people that you're gonna have the best connections with. Don't just be a kiss ass and say, hey, how many partners could I meet? Hate those people. Try to meet, everyone equally. And then probably don't get super drunk. And when I say don't get super drunk, probably don't get drunk. You're in front of other partners or managers and senior managers. Get
uh,
mildly drunk, have a good time, loosen up. Don't get high, I guess. Well, I don't know if, high on,
mhm. High on
snow
life
or whatever.
accounting, yeah.
High on life. Yeah, get on high on life. Um, what are other don'ts?
Yeah,
Don't
what
make
I just think
make
it all leads to you're right. Yeah, you have too many drinks, that's going to lead to other things. You start flirting with the recruiter,
yeah,
all of a sudden
exactly.
you're a sex offender. It just one thing leads to another, and so yeah, a couple drinks at these things. Sometimes I haven't even followed my own advice. I'll tell a story in a later episode about me pissing on some guy's mouth. Um, no, that's a joke. But yeah, I think that's like the number one don't is like just don't get hammered. Everything else, I think you're fine. Don't say any racial slurs. Like maybe some people enjoy those. I find them funny, but you don't want to say those to the wrong people. As far as dues, I thought you brought up a really good point, Alec, just about obviously you'll socialize with the people who are already on board at these big four. You'll want to talk to seniors and managers and maybe partners. Partners are usually pretty boring; they're out of touch. But it's
Yeah.
important. It is important to talk to the other interns, get to know people in your class. And I once talked to this one manager who went to recruiting events as a part of PwC, and he would judge recruits on how they treated other recruits, because that's really the tell. Is like, how do you treat someone who has nothing to offer you? Because that's like the ultimate tell of who you are as a person. And I treated recruits like shit. So no, I'm
That's why he got fired. Just kidding.
kidding.
He was not fired. He voluntarily left. But yeah, exactly. Like, cause honestly, like, yeah, the manager is cool. I mean, getting to know them, but like, once you leave the firm, which you most likely will, you're not gonna you're not gonna be talking to your managers or senior managers. It's just a different connection. You're gonna be talking to your friends that you made, to your brothers, to your sisters that you made at the internship event. That's what I do. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a few interns that I still talk to this day, and none of us are at PwC or whatever, but we're just close, and we like to share work stories or whatever. Um, so yeah, I'm not keeping any touch with any of the partners. I'll tell you that, but it's good to know some, obviously. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's good as far as happy hour stuff. And those happen quite a bit just because they want to treat you well as the intern. They want to show you that it's a fun time. And here's a little spoiler alert. That kind of dwindles once you
kind of.
yeah, once you join full time. But that's why we say being an intern is the best part of being a part of the big four. That's the best time period because you're drinking, you're not doing much work, you're getting sloppy, and you're having fun.
Yeah. Once every 2 weeks, you should expect an event. It's a great time. Okay. Now, um, I see, we're closing in on the hour, so let's get to the part that everyone wants to hear. How do you lose an offer?
hmm And it's such a good
All right.
question, and that's phrased perfectly. It's how do you lose an offer? Because when you join, when you are an intern, the expectation is that you're getting one. I mean, that's it.
98% yours.
Yeah,
It's like a 98% guarantee.
it is yours to lose. You're going to have to assault someone or delete an entire database. You're going to have to do something horrific to lose this thing. But Alex, take it away.
Well, I think Alex touched on it. Bad attitude. If you have a bad attitude and you keep saying no to your senior, or say, giving them, arguing with them and saying, you know how to do something better, which you really don't, because you just literally, this is your first work assignment ever in your life. I mean, professionally speaking, most likely. So don't say, something, know how to do better than someone that's been doing this for like 3 years, 4 years. And another time I heard someone losing their offer was they took 2 weeks off. They took 4th of July week off, and then they took the week after 4th of July week off. So the week of 4th of July, you're allowed to take off. But the week after 4th of July, this person just took completely off. I think
Mhm.
she lied that it was like sick time.
Okay.
And then she was actually posting pictures on her Instagram or whatever that she was like in Canada. I don't know. She was like traveling essentially. You
Yeah.
might recall this person. Um,
Yeah. We don't
she
have
was
to
in our
out
class.
her on here, but
Yeah, we won't. Oh, yeah, but
that's
anyways,
hilarious. Though.
but so basically, PwC said we don't have a problem with you taking time off, but a this was like a planned vacation. It wasn't, clearly you weren't sick. Um, our problem was a that you kind of lied about it, and b this internship's only 8 weeks long. and we already have 2 weeks taken off because of Fourth of July and then now this vacation. And you could have at least given us like a heads up a few months ago. This is where you could be proactive if you're going to take time off by sending us an email and saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to work so and so week or so and so day. And they were kind of frustrated that this person just didn't do it and told them literally like a few days before the fourth, actually like the day before the 4th of July shutdown, that they weren't going to be working that week. And that really didn't sit well with them. And
Mm-hmm.
that this person wasn't even invited to Disneyland at the end of the trip. So everyone who gets an offer goes to Disneyland, and this person clearly did not get an offer or was invited to Disneyland. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's one story I have. The other story I have is someone who did get an offer, went to Disneyland, then got very, very drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know the story?
Well, so I don't, but let's backtrack real quick. So
Yeah.
folks, PwC specifically, I think other Big Four do something like this too. But um, at the end of uh, at the end of the internship, you get offered a full time offer, and once you get that offer, they say, "Hey, you're going to Disneyland," like those gay people at the end of sports when you win a championship. And
Hey,
so
that's Tom Brady, man. Don't disrespect the
yeah,
goat.
yeah, yeah, kissing kids. And so they say, yeah, we're going to Disneyland. And so everyone at PwC gets to go, and everyone from the country goes to Disney World, we should say, in
Disney
Orlando.
World, Disney World, yes.
Yeah, it's in Orlando. Go Magic. And that's where you do this 3-day event where you do scavenger hunt and you tickle each other and you have a good time overall. But this story Alec is about to tell, which I actually haven't heard, but that is a dangerous time because you are getting sloppy drunk. You're going at night, at least you get to go out on the boardwalk there, which if we had a producer, he'd pull up a photo of the Orlando, Disney World boardwalk. There's a couple bars there, and people have a good time. People might throw parties in their hotel room, wink, wink, and that is yours to lose. They expect you to behave there, so that's the ultimate test, I think. But get back to your story. I didn't mean to derail that.
I don't know, but yeah, this was a year before us, and apparently, you know how these rumors were, but I think this one was pretty substantiated. This guy got very, very drunk. On one of the first nights that they went to Disney World, and there was a pool at the hotel, and this was like a really nice hotel. It's like a five-star hotel. I think like per night it was like 450 bucks a night. It was like the yacht club at Disney World. That's where they make you stay, which is really cool. Anyway, this guy, um, as drunk as he was, he snuck into the pool at around midnight because the pool closes at like 10 p.m. And I think he jumped in like the shallow part, like the very shallow part, and he ended up like breaking a few bones or something in the pool to the point where the partner had to wake up at like midnight or 1 a.m. When he did this and take him to the hospital. Um, and essentially, it, legend has it that he didn't lose his offer right there and then, but after the trip, HR told him that they would not be extending him an offer. So, poor guy had to come back from Disney World with a few broken bones and no offer. I mean, the guy just wanted to have a good time, but
Mm-hmm.
the partner did not was not a big fan of having to wake up at 1 a.m. and taking this kid to the
Mm-hmm.
hospital.
Yeah.
So don't do something stupid, even if you have the offer. It's not totally yours. They could always take it away from you. It's in your contract. It's completely at will. You could leave whenever you want, and they could rescind the offer whenever they
Mm-hmm.
want. So I mean, yeah, celebrate, but don't do something stupid like that. It's just
Yeah.
yeah, don't.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good story. Yeah, obviously, I mean, it's easier said than done not to F around. When you hit that Orlando humid air, you're gonna want to chug a Heineken and have a good time, but try to be safe. I don't even
Try
know if
to
they're doing that shit anymore with COVID. Who knows? I think the world's over. But Yeah, you want to be careful there. And then another thing is, and they'll actually, I think, teach you this your first week there, but private all that social media stuff. Make your Insta, make your Twitter, because everyone's saying swear words. We're all saying gay jokes, black joke. Everyone's having fun, and
We're not saying black.
sometimes a corporation doesn't like that stuff, and so yeah, just make it private. I actually had I'll make this real quick, just I don't want to go off the rails, but there was a lady in HR who I was close with at PwC, but she just pressured me into following her. No, I didn't jizz, but she pressured me into letting her follow me on Insta, and she followed a bunch of
Dude.
us. And I never really, I mean, I don't post on that main account. I don't really
Oh
post
man.
anything weird, but I was worried for a sec. Maybe she's just going to stalk this and see all the porn I follow. I don't know. And so it was a tricky sitch, but yeah, be careful about that. Try not to ever let, it was not, it was,
Uh,
her name started with an E.
oh my God, was it this?
Yes, yes,
Oh my God,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Uh,
Miss Wuhan. And so
oh my God, dude, you actually, why would anyone? Oh my God, that's the stupid.
yeah, for the folks at home, Alec messaged me who it was. I just told him who it was. I'm not going to say her name on her or his name or they's name. Could be trans. I'm not going to say it on the pod. Um, but
Whoever was the worst person to give
yeah,
his
yeah,
Instagram because this is a person that would totally, totally stalk it or
frustrating. Yeah.
judge it or give insight based.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily for me on that main Insta, I never post anything, and if I do, it's nothing ridiculous. So we're in the clear there. But I have friends. I mean, there were coworkers of ours who would post, "Oh, this weekend, margaritas and you know, dick or something," and you worry about them because
Forget about weekend, work day, 12 p.m. Hey, what are you guys doing? Kind of free, not working right now. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Is there anything else I think we touched on everything. You know, how to lose how to lose an offer, what clients you should want, right, or clients you'll get, being proactive. Yeah, I mean, I think this was a pretty helpful episode in terms of what to expect for an internship and what to do. Is there
yeah,
anything else you'd like to add?
no, I think we went pretty in depth. We touched the client work stuff, the training you do. I mean, it really is yours to lose, folks. It's not difficult to get that offer. You just gotta have a pulse and have a good attitude, and you'll be on your way to mediocrity with that associate role. Um, yeah, I think that's all I have to touch on here, Alec. I don't know if we wanted. We're approaching the hour. I know that the folks listening probably have bedtime, or maybe they've got a party to go to.
Tryouts.
They've got
These are
tryouts
accounts. I
to
don't think anyone's
do.
partying, brother.
Yeah,
No
that's a good
offense to
point.
my accounting people. No, I think we should touch on the big accounting news of the week,
Ooh,
and that one will be today. Ernst and Young notified all employees of their raise. You know, last week we talked about their bonus, which
hmm
was disappointing. This year they told them about their raises that will be effective October 1st. And I got to tell you, from what I heard, they really came through for these people. The
Oh,
numbers are incredible. I'm hearing the minimum folks got were 11%, was 11%.
oh,
So market adjustment wise, if you were average, you got an 11% market adjustment raise. And if you were, above average, you were getting 20%. So I heard a lot of people got big raises this year. So Ernst and Young came through in terms of in terms of raise.
Yeah,
Who's
well, I
that?
mean, the old saying goes, if you've got an issue, just throw money at it. And I think if you have these unhappy employees, people who are upset with the work they're doing, quality of life,
Hmm.
throw them a couple bucks and they'll shut their yaps.
Yeah, you could say that again, man. If they threw us a raise, I think we'd still be there too.
Yeah, seriously.
A much bigger raise though, maybe 30, 40%.
Yeah, some fat stacks.
But yeah, you know what? We're at our 60-minute mark. Let's call it. We'll see you guys next week.
Oh yeah. All right. Appreciate it, boys and girls. We need a nickname for the listeners. It's the Big Four Boys, but I don't know what we'll call our listeners. It's like Beyonce has the
Um,
Beehive, Nicki Minaj has the Hoodlums or whatever it is. So
you know what? I think we need to get more than one listener to name them. So once we get maybe two listeners,
yeah,
we will start
you can come up with
working on names.
a
Yeah,
plural name. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, sweet. All right. Appreciate y'all for listening. We'll see you on the flip. All right. Wait, shit. Let me stop the recording.